Welcome back to another episode of the Pigskin Panel. I'm your host, AJ Lavender. We have my co-host today representing the Cowboys. We have my man Mike Sharp in the building. We have going down south to the sunny state of Florida. We have my man Joe Braga. And then from the Flock Gang himself, Mr. Cody Mcguire. What is happening, fellas? How are you guys doing today?
We're pretty good. I'm good.
Good today.
Awesome. Love it, boys. Well, you know how we kick off. Off season has officially started, boys. It's a crazy past couple days. The tides are turning. It's the actions we've been all looking for. So to start off, we have to go to one of our boys' teams here. And it's a breaking news that I know he's been waiting for. I know the league's been waiting for. Dak Prescott finally signs with the Cowboys back. He signed a 4-year, $160 million. Throw the Chad, make it rain. 126 million of that was guaranteed. As well, he became the highest paid quarterback for a signing bonus of $66 million. Yeah. I mean, he's going to the bank, making driving down convertible, throwing money out the window like that. That's absolutely crazy, man. So, just right off the back, man, Mike, I want to get your reaction about it, man. What are you feeling? Are you glad? Is the price tag a little bit too steep, man? What are you feeling about this whole situation?
I'm obviously a huge Dak guy, so I'm very excited that he signed. The tag, would have been an okay option, I guess, but I mean, looking at the breakdown of the deal, I love it, because you look at this year, it's only $22.2 million, which if he's going to get tagged, that's $37.7. So you're saving $15 million right there just in that. And then the next year it's $33 million. So even then he's still getting paid pretty good money. And then years 3 and 4, he's getting over 40. It's 44 and 47, I think. But I mean, I think by then you're going to see a new TV deal anyways. So I think the cap's going to go up anyways. I think Jerry's kind of tipped his hand already by doing the deal the way it is. So, I mean, I'm excited about it. I know a lot of Cowboys fans love to hate on Dak, but they love to hate on everything, because most Cowboys fans are not very happy fans. Yeah, but I mean, Dak's going to give you everything you need. He's improved every year, in my opinion, and it seems like he's ahead of schedule in this ankle injury, so that's a good sign, I guess. And now it's time to build up the defense and see what we can do.
Yeah, now my biggest worry about that, man, is this, like you said, the defense has been a really big eyesore, and it's all the cap space for me, man. With this whole new tide of, quarterbacks being paid, you have the Patrick Mahomes being paid just a buckload of money now, Dak Prescott is, are we going to be seeing a trend where, we have these high, crazy talented quarterbacks, but then you pay them the money that you need to pay them, and all of a sudden now it's lackluster because, you have these top tier, defensive players that say, I'm not taking a pay cut. I'd rather go play for somewhere else. I might as well play for a rookie quarterback that's on a contract deal where, teams have enough money to pay me, or a sub-average quarterback that's not getting paid as much, but I still get my check, Well, what do you think about that, aspect of it? Do you think, Cowboys are now set up to win in that case?
Yeah. No, yeah, well, in my opinion, what they're going to have to do now is the way to build around Dak offensively is we're going to have to just stockpile first-round picks after first-round picks for O-linemen again, maybe wide receiver again. But, that's what we did when we got our, awesome O-line, was we just went first-round pick after first-round pick taking O-linemen. And, granted, not all of them worked out, but, we got lucky that most of ours did. So I know you probably have to go free agency trade route to build up the defense a bit, and just keep drafting and developing linemen, tight ends, wide receivers, because you're not going to be able to sign these guys now. The money's going to have to go on the defensive side of the ball if you're going to want to compete. With the money Dak's getting, that's going to be a lot of the money on offense. So that's the way I would approach it. We'll see what they end up doing, but that's my opinion on it, at least.
Love it, man. It's definitely. I love always getting the inside of a person's team's perspective from the inside. But going forward here, I want to get the outside scoop of what people from outside the organization or fans look like. So, my man Braga, man, what do you think about the whole Dak signing from your perspective, being a Dolphins fan and out of the conference and everything?
To be honest with you, I was a big Dak hater at the very beginning. As Sharp knows, I always used to give him a hard time. But I've grown to love Dak. I think he's fantastic. There's so many things to like. He's accurate. He's got fourth quarter winning drives. He's a leader on that team. And as a fourth round draft pick, what more can you expect from a quarterback like that? Am I right? Even though he's always had weapons on that offense, whether it's Zeke or Amari Cooper or Des Bryant, even that one year. You just can't complain. Like last year was unfortunate for him. Obviously, the Cowboys have a lot of special talent there, but I think Dak's a special quarterback, and I think this is the right deal in the long run, especially because of the money that's coming in. Was it like 100 something million or something that they're saying? So everybody's cap's going to go up, and this deal is going to look like a bargain in 2-3 years, I think.
So it's definitely going to look like a bargain when the next panelist comes on, when they have to sign their quarterback, because they're gonna have to shed a lot of money. But the Flock gang, Cody, man, what about you, man? What do you think about this whole Dak signing?
I think it's a great signing. I mean, it's impossible not to pay Dak after the start to the season he had last year. Like we mentioned last show, he was on pace for like 6,000 yards, right? So couldn't have been playing any better than he was. And that's what happens. I mean, as a Ravens fan, I know all too well that if you play well close to contract time, you're going to get paid. Look at Flacco. He won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl MVP, and like you can shit on him all you want, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you win the Super Bowl or you play out of your mind right before your contract expires, you're going to get paid. It's just that simple. So, I think it was a great deal. The only concern I have with Dak is the guy's never really played behind anything other than an exceptional O-line, right? So we'll see how the O-line goes going forward. It's impossible to always have a out of this world elite O-line, but if he can manage to stay healthy and play well behind maybe an average line, there's no downside to the deal at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, like our own line this year is pretty bad. His numbers were like better. So,
and that's my point. And look at what happened. He hurt his ankle, albeit it was in a bit of a freak incident. I wouldn't say it was anyone's fault, but like that stuff's more prone to happen when you don't have an elite line. That's the only concern I think Dak even has, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, now my interest in take now is only because you signed so much money, man. Is this the whole running back room now? Like, do you guys look to offload Zeke now? And that is probably going to be one of the most prominent questions going in now into the regular season. Mike, do you see that happening, or what's your take on that?
I mean, it's what I mentioned last podcast is, I mean, I feel like you have to. I don't know if you have an option at this point. Like, as much as like I like Zeke, and as a lot of Cowboys fans like Zeke, like you can't pay them that much money. Like the deal at the time, I was okay with. But looking at it now, it's an exceptional amount of money for a guy that, I don't know, I'm not going to say it can be replaceable, but Tony Pollard can replace 80% of his production. So, and he's getting peanuts compared to Zeke. So that's going to have to be an option. You're going to have to look at Jalen Smith. They're talking about they don't want to cut him. They don't want to do, like, at least restructure something, because you need to save money now a bit.
Yeah, one of the coolest things that I've seen, because I was watching, Skip and Shannon this morning, and actually the way they actually have one of the contracts worded that they can actually move the contract now and actually have it as a signing bonus to actually extend the cap on it. It's super, super cool the way they can do it, and it actually is like a win-win for both Dak and the team, because Dak can get his money now up front, and the team now saves the cap in the later years, which I think will be a cool option that if down the road, if Dak doesn't perform as well, or if they need to find a way have cap space for someone like a Trayvon Diggs in the end when, say if he has a crazy season, keeps on producing. That way you guys can kind of alleviate and move that cap space, which is really cool, man. Jerry Jones has, some wizardry when it comes to that for sure.
Oh yeah. Loves his theatrics, that's for sure.
I know it'll be interesting to see how these Kamara and Dalvin Cook deals age, because I mean, up until this point, paying a running back has not worked out for any team. I think Kamara will work out. He's probably a Hall of Fame running back already at the pace that he's going at, and honestly, in his own right, probably Dalvin Cook is too, if they can keep healthy their whole careers. But
I mean, that's Dalvin Cook's problem is
exactly.
That guy cannot stay healthy. This year he did, but then he had his hamstring injuries again. So you're gonna have to look down the road with him. But yeah, he's amazing when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that just showed this past year. Even him coming out of college was just absolutely phenomenal. And I saw him. I was like, man, this would be a great guy to get for the Broncos, but that didn't end up happening. But it is what it is. But yeah, definitely as like Braga said, man. Dak Prescott even showing out his draft class, man, for a 4th round draft pick. We drafted Paxton Lynch, and I'm sitting there watching man, we could have had that, man. we were going to pay him in free agency if he had stepped through. But it's just one of those things, man. I'm happy for the Cowboys. They got their guy. They can alleviate that stress on the weight of their shoulders that he's not signing. They can never get a deal together. Now you guys can start looking forward now to the draft and more free agency pickups and focus on other things. So.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So going on to the next piece of business here, another trade that popped off, which was pretty eye-opening for me, being someone from the AFC West, and the Las Vegas Raiders trade Trent Brown back to the Patriots for a 5th round pick, and they got 7th with it too. So he was an absolute monster with the Patriots beforehand, and is this shocking to see that he was really fed up with the Vegas Raiders and now want to go back home basically. Is this a Belichick thing, his system? Is it a Raiders thing? Las Vegas maybe too much of a wild party centric, man? I just want to go around the room, see what you guys think, man, about this whole situation. And is he done? Is he past his elite status or what, man? So Mike, what do you think?
I think he's still got some in the tank. I think he can still be a good right tackle. He played right tackle at the Raiders, I think. So I'm assuming he's going to slot in there again. And they didn't tag Thuney today, right? So that means maybe somebody's sliding inside, or maybe they're going after a guard too. But yeah, it obviously, to me, I think it's just maybe familiarity. He wanted out of the Raiders and maybe just said, you know what, Patriots, I know the system, I know Belichick, I'd be comfortable there. That could be the main reason why he went back there.
I love it. And Joel, what about you? I know for me, I'm happy about it. That means, our guys like Bradley Chubb and them, they can get after Carr a little bit easier, or Mariota, whoever's going to be starting at that point. But Joel, what about you, man?
Well, Trent Brown, he was an elite talent. Obviously, he went to the Raiders. Things didn't go the way that he wanted to. I think he didn't play very many games even for the Raiders. I don't think. Anyway, I got a guy at work. He's a huge Raiders fan, and he was happier than a pig in shit to see him back to New England. He was so happy about it. I know he showed me a picture of him, and he's not looking like he's in the best shape. He's looking really heavy compared to his Patriot days. Yeah, real thick.
Yeah, like 4 bills big.
Yeah, 4 bills big. You're looking like the thickest milkshake you ever seen in your life. But
his milkshake brings up.
But one thing you do know for sure is that New England's not going to let that kind of stuff fly. So he took a pay cut down to $11 million, which is reasonable for a guy of his talent and stature. Whether he can get back to his athleticism and get his feet right and everything, with all that weight weighing down on you, you won't be moving too fast laterally. So he's got some work to do. But I think as a Dolphins fan, I'm not happy to see him back in New England because he was phenomenal for the Patriots.
Yeah. And I just looked it up here. So his first year in when it was Oakland, he played 11 games, and then last year he played only 5. So
5 games. And I know he had with the COVID thing, he had something with his COVID going on, and Abram ended up missing time. A bunch of guys on the O line missed time. Like seems like he was more of a headache in at the Raiders than anything.
Yeah, it sounds like our right tackle, Juwan James, right now. So we'll see how that goes. I know you guys offloaded him to us. We
were going to pay him.
we kind of had to hold the L right there for that.
Go ahead.
He is a good right tackle when he's available, which will be this year. So he definitely will help the Broncos out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Cody, man, what do you think about the whole Trent Brown situation?
I think Sharp hit the nail on the head. Joel made some good points as well, but I think it's just a familiarity. That's what the Patriots are known for, right? They get the best out of their players, and they just know how to use them, unlike any other team. I don't know if it's a Belichick thing or it's a culture thing, but especially with him being overweight and everything and not looking the best, like Joel said, you give a guy that knows the playbook and has played in this system before, albeit with maybe not with the same quarterback and personnel, but at the end of the day, he's been there so long and he knows what they expect and what they expect of him, and it's probably going to be in his best interest to go to New England, I think.
Yeah, definitely, because San Francisco he did well, and then of course with New England, and that's going to be interesting, man, is to see is it a TB thing? Like, could that be also the reason why too? Kind of this, having one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, him with Jarrett Stidham or Cam, whoever it's going to be. And that's still a mystery puzzle on itself. We're definitely going to see if, a lot of things come into fruition, right? Again, this can even further Tom Brady's career, his legacy, just to show the actual stature of his quarterback play. But now, like I said, going to this offseason has been crazy. And then today we finally got some action and breaking news, especially when it starts coming to tagging and making sure those franchise tags are in place or people going to the unrestricted free agents. As a Broncos fan, happier than pig and shit that we was able to tag Justin Simmons. But then it started really picking up today. And I think anybody that's a football fan and they have any type of update alerts, your phone percentage probably is at 2% right now because the notifications going off all day. But one of the biggest ones that we were all talking about in our little group chat here is Tampa Bay tagging Chris Godwin other than Shaq Barrett and Levante David. And I thought this was very interesting because personally myself, I thought Godwin was gone. I thought having Mike Evans there, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller in the slot, they were gonna offload him, trade him, tag and trade maybe, but I did not see them especially because it's a franchise tag looking to actually get the deal done, which I was very shocked by. And Joe could probably get into the other specs about a player maybe landing on him, but Mike, just hearing about that Chris Godwin, being tagged and not actually being moved on somewhere else, man. What's your thoughts on that, man? Did you see that coming? Did you see him walk in, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, out of the three, I did not see them tagging him. I thought maybe Barrett would have been the guy to tag because he might be harder to lock up. They've since re-signed David, right?
Yeah.
So they got at least Godwin and David back. But I'm wondering if this is a buy some time for Godwin because maybe they're going to try to sign him long term and then tag him now, and you get that window of time for a multi-year deal extension, right? So I'm wondering if that's maybe a tactic as well as trying to sign Barrett because they're trying to sign Barrett too. I mean, I don't know where all this cap space is coming from, but if they can maneuver all three of them, I mean, that's awesome. But I also kind of saw Godwin leaving too because not only they got Scotty Miller in the slot and they got Evans obviously, but that Johnson guy came out and was playing awesome
Tyler
this
Johnson.
year for him. Yeah. And Brady raves about that guy too. So he could have been a guy that would just slide in to Godwin's position and they'd be okay. But it obviously could be a mutual thing. Godwin could just want to stay in Tampa. You never know. And maybe they're going to work on a multi-year deal. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. Like I know for me, if I'm getting the bag and I'm winning championships, in Florida, no taxes, like
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
chilling. I'm cool chilling.
It's going to be a good reason to leave Tampa, man.
Yeah, man, that's great. I didn't know. I didn't know that Levante David actually signed. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see that. So he actually did now sign it because that's what I was
Yeah.
referring to with Joe. Because I know there was a big interest in Levante David going to the Dolphins just because he's a Miami boy himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, Braga, man, what do you think about Godwin? I know you kind of spoke about it earlier in last week's episode, but yeah, I'd like to hear your perspective from it.
I think tagging Godwin was actually a good thing in comparison to Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett had 20 sacks 2 years ago, dropped down to 8 last year. Was a force in the playoffs for sure, no question about it. But I think Godwin's the true talent there, and I think the market would have been ridiculous for Chris Godwin. So I think buying up one more year, kind of seeing how things go, maybe they can shoot him a plan and they can sign him to a long-term deal after this year is the right option. They got JPP there making $13.5 million. It's going to be hard to pay two DNs elite money. Obviously having Evans and Godwin at elite money isn't necessarily the right thing to do for right now anyway, but with Brady taking pay cuts, only making 24, 25 million, you can still get that done. But yet again, Chris Godwin he's a special talent. And if there wasn't so many mouths to feed there in Tampa Bay last year, you would have seen his numbers be maybe around the 85, 90 catch range because he is that special. Mind you, he has lingering injuries last year, and you could see in his play a little bit it wasn't at the level that it was the year before either, but he's young and there's plenty of time to grow there.
And the dude is fast as lightning.
Yeah.
It can absolutely roast you.
I think personally he would have been the highest paid free agent wide receiver. Wow. If they were to go, if he was to go to a different team. Obviously there's A-Rob, there's Kenny Galladay, there's Juju, but for me, Chris Godwin is the best out of all four of those options.
Well, especially he came into the league last year as PFF's number 1 wide receiver, right? Which is definitely a notch considering the talent at wide receiver there is in the league, in the current day, right? But speaking of that, I know this was probably a heartbreaker to my man Cody because he was really up on Godwin potentially landed with the Flock gang, and that kind of got diminished.
He wasn't going there.
No.
So Cody, man, tell us about your heartbreak. If you need a hug, we're here for you.
I totally agree with the Tyler Johnson comment. That he's going to be a really good player. So I was personally pretty surprised that they tagged Chris Godwin. I don't see any scenario where he stays there after next season. And they pay him and Mike Evans big money. I just don't think that really makes sense, especially with the young, good wide receivers that they do have on their roster. The nice thing about Godwin is he can play outside and he can play in the slot. He can play all over the field. So he's going to have a long laundry list of suitors. He could have the worst season ever next year, and he's still going to be a highly paid wide receiver next season. So I really did want him to come to Baltimore. I didn't really think he was going to, but yeah, I think he's the best of those three. Allen Robinson in his own right is very good. But I do think Godwin's flexibility on the field, playing everywhere in the slot, outside. He can win one-on-one. He had a kind of a rough playoff stretch this year, but yeah, I was personally surprised that they tagged him. I did think Allen Robinson was going to get tagged. I wasn't really too surprised about that, but I didn't think they were going to tag Godwin.
Yeah, good perspective on that. And then yeah, for me, I like I said before, I thought Godwin was gone. I definitely thought he would have really just want to be out there. And I think, like I said, coming from the production that, they got from Shaq coming from us, I definitely thought that would have been their guy. Especially, like I said, JPP's getting old on Ndamukong Suh on that defensive line right there. They're getting old. They're still producing, but I definitely thought Shaq as that younger guy, that would have been their kind of their cornerstone. So I was quite surprised about that. But again, if you have elite talent at the wide receiver and you have, like I said, the greatest quarterback of all time, you keep that core together, and then you're looking to try to run it back, right? And that's what they said. They're trying to do the LeBron. Not 1, not 2, not 3. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how that plays off there. But moving forward, there's another big shocking news, a big shocking trade, and I was really quite surprised by this. And one of my best friends down here, Mogi, he was kind of shook about it too. It's Isaiah Wilson. The Titans last year's first round draft pick got traded to my man Joel's team, the Dolphins, for what was it? A swap picks for a 7th. Was that correct, Joel?
Yeah,
I think it was a lottery detergent or something in a bag of balls.
A pack of darts, a honey dip donut, and a medium double.
The Dolphins gave up their 7th round pick in exchange for Isaiah Wilson and the Titans' 7th round pick in 2022.
Okay.
So just straight up, hey, here you go.
There you go, man.
That's
You're proud
crazy. Now, Bragg, I don't know. Have you looked into him yet? Would he solve basically those offensive line issues that you were previously talking about last episode?
That remains to be seen. What he was in college isn't who he is now. He had a DUI. Things kind of went sour there. The Titans said either choose football or we got to find somewhere else for you to go. And he tweeted saying, I never want to play for the Titans again. A week later, he's a Dolphin. So he only had, I think, less than 10 snaps last year for the Titans.
Yeah.
He had something to do with COVID and just not getting along with team rules or whatever it might be. Obviously, the DUI doesn't help his situation, but he was an elite prospect. He was a 5-star recruit. Lots of things to like. Size, for example, athleticism.
Is he in Georgia? Is that where he played for?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I just seen some of his tape recently. He wasn't even in my eye for anything up until when I heard about the trade yesterday. But there's a couple of videos on YouTube about him. He's had some dark days, but Coach Flo has worked with him in high school, I think in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. And if there's anybody in this league who can get something out of him with the relationship that he had with Wilson, it's Coach Flo. So we're going to see. There's been some talk about him pumping out to right tackle to see if he can protect Tua. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he's even in shape right now. I haven't seen anything about how he's looking, how he's feeling. So, but for the price, I mean, you can't go wrong. First year, $1.3 million. Second year, $1.3 million. And the year after, $2.2 million. He's only 22 years old. The Dolphins have the youngest O-line in football. That is a fact. So we will see if he can grow with this line.
Yeah, I was just looking it up here, and he did come out of Georgia. And both Marino and Krabs, they said, his best trait, man, is his ridiculous power and size. They say basically the worst trait, something that he has to work on, is his technique. So, you said, man, if you have a good offensive line coach, it seems like it's like the perfect fit. Like you said, it's a really low risk, high reward situation, right? If he came out as a 5-star prospect from Georgia, he has, the run game ability with the amount of producing running backs Georgia's came out with, and their offensive line's always for running backs. So at least you guys know that you guys are going to have a good prospect, elite prospect for pennies, really on the dime. Like I said, a pack of smokes, basically.
Yeah, if he's your problem, then just cut him. You gave up nothing for him. So
that's the whole thing, is they can just cut him at any time whatsoever, and it's not going to affect too much, right? I seen a video of him actually playing fullback in high school, and he was just throwing people, just ducking people.
A 350-pound fullback at 17
years
years old.
Yeah, it was a bowling ball. It was a bowling ball hitting some pins.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I'm not expecting anything, but I'm hopeful.
Man, yeah, definitely, man. I would not hate that either. If we got some type of elite prospect like that for nothing, I'm all aboard for that. That's amazing. Fellas, did you have any input on that?
He said pretty much. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, he kind of touched it all there.
Yeah. Low risk, high reward. There's nothing to really be concerned about there. I guess maybe some character issues, but I mean, Flores as a head coach, he's one of the better head coaches in the NFL, so I don't see that being an issue anyway.
Yeah,
I just wanted to do the laundry detergent comment, so
yeah,
I got mine out of the way.
Tie to go, and that's it.
Let's just be hopeful that the Miami sun and the Miami party life doesn't get to him.
Yeah, that'll probably be the biggest thing, right? Those Miami lights, man, you can't shy away from them. Awesome. So now going into probably the more shocking news is all the players that were not tagged today. And when I say there's a lot, there is a lot. First starting off, Big Joe, all-pro guard from the Patriots. And we kind of touched up on this, but incredible. This one's weird, I find, just because Joe Thuney, he's like 27, 28 years old, an all-pro guard, which is, tough to find in an offensive in a league that really depends on offensive linemen. With the trade coming in for Trent Brown, I definitely thought they would have kept him and really solidify that as, an all-pro offensive line, kind of like your Dallas Cowboys for the past years. So what do you guys think about that? Are you guys in basically the same reaction as me? Are you guys shocked about it, or is it kind of seen where maybe Trent Brown maybe being a little bit bigger, not more athletic, they might shift him to the guard position and find someone else to tackle? Mike, man, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they're going to still try to sign him, but it looks like they're not going to, because I'm just wondering what their cap situation's like. And I'm wondering if they just went, you know what, we're going to bring Trent Brown back and we'll slide someone inside that might be cheaper than Thuney. So I don't know. He's going to have a lot of suitors, though. I know that. There's going to be a lot of there's a lot of people that could use a guard. Dallas, hey, yeah, give him a call, please. We should use some help.
The panel has spoken.
So, yeah, it is. Honestly, it's a bit shocking, but with the Trent Brown trade, I can kind of see it. It's just I don't exactly get it.
Yeah, definitely. Joel, what about you, man?
I've been watching him play for the Patriots for a couple of years now. He's a special guy. He definitely stands out. So I don't know what they're planning on doing. I don't even know who their quarterback is right now. So I don't know if there's been talks of them going after Garoppolo and whatnot. We'll see what happens. But to let a guy walk like that is just I'm almost lost for words, man. I'm almost lost for words. Mind you, he is a guard. Guards can be replaceable. Tackles seem to be the more important thing. So they went with Trent Brown as the more important spot to fill. Surprised they didn't tag him, but we'll see what happens. Somebody's going to pay him. Somebody's going to pay him, whether it's the Patriots or anybody else in this league. There's tons of people who would love to have him.
Yeah, because, to me, he's really the only person worth tagging on the Patriots, in my opinion. But I guess that's for my opinion alone. But Cody, man, what about you?
Well, I'm actually right now, I was looking up the cap space because I'm thinking to myself too, aside from maybe the salary cap, I don't understand why they wouldn't bring him back or at least franchise tag him. And I'm looking is this right? It's saying New England. Are they second? It looks like they have the second most cap in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. I could see it.
Well, it all depends.
If that's right, then I don't know.
They had all those guys off for COVID last year. Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung. I don't know if they're putting those guys back into the mix into this salary cap just yet.
So what I've seen, I know the Broncos is accurate, and that's with Juwan James, even though he opted out. So I think it is reflective of those players that opted out for COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, because it has Jacksonville at the top there, 72.8 million, and then it has the Patriots at 72.6. So I mean,
that's crazy.
I really don't know.
Must be saving cap space for Watson or something, So
yeah.
The Bill Belichick meme just walking in.
Well, if you think about it, New England, they need O-line help. They don't have really a stud running back. Harris made a little bit of noise last year. They got no wide receivers really.
Zero.
Zero. They got Stephon Gilmore on defense, Hightower and Chung if he comes back. Well, I'm sure they will come back. And it's crazy how many holes the Patriots have. You haven't seen that in 15, 16 years. So
since 2001.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they still have a couple pieces on their defense, especially with J.C. Jackson. He's a good player, really good player, and Stephon Gilmore. But yeah, on the offense, it's like, what are we even looking at here? Like, this is just a ridiculous roster.
A whole lot of the Snoop Dogg who gif.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they're gonna make a couple signings in this offseason and make a run at it. I don't know. I mean, we don't even know who their quarterback's gonna be.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that I hate about that whole narrative last year, man. It was like Cam Newton sucks. It's like, who is he passing the ball to? Like, he can't
Tom Brady just made it
who
look
is he
easy.
throwing to? Yeah. Their star wide receiver is a slot wide receiver that was injured. So
I would I'd be sitting here for a bit thinking of the depth chart, wide receiver.
Yeah, and usually like the Patriots are good for tight ends, like receiving tight ends that can block too. And dude, without looking up, I literally could not tell you off the back of my head who their tight end was.
I know they drafted 2 last year.
They got,
and I think they both started.
Izzo, and they got, they drafted that middle round guy. Yeah, I don't know. I just
Who?
It's bad.
Yeah, so then going forward here now, I'll start off with Cody, man, and this is probably a prospect that you might be looking at. He's had some injuries, but it's Kenny Galladay from the Detroit Lions. He was just announced that the Lions not franchising tagging him. He's a player that is good when he can stay healthy. Has been a little bit of a Band-Aid, but when he's on the field, man, this guy produces. And when I'm talking about produces, not only just yards, receptions, touchdowns. Like he's like all of a kind package, man. So, coming from a team that needs a wide receiver, would you guys be looking at that? Or, what's your thoughts on Kenny Galladay?
I mentioned in the last show that I'm pretty all in on us signing Corey Davis. That's who I want us to sign. I never thought that Allen Robinson or Godwin were realistic options, and now, sure enough, they're not. So I personally want Corey Davis. Galladay is a super underrated wide receiver. You can say that he's injury prone and all that, but he back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. His last healthy year in the NFL, he led the NFL in touchdowns. He's a good player. I don't think for what we need, he's who we need to sign. That being said, I wouldn't be pissed if we signed him. I definitely think that he's an alpha type wide receiver, but I think we need more of a chain mover kind of, not your prototypical alpha wide receiver one, but I do think he's a really good player. And I said this to you guys earlier today. I don't buy into his injuries too much this year. I think he was hurt, but it just doesn't make sense how they had him questionable every week for how long, and they could have put him on injury reserve. Instead, they had instead of bringing a different guy in on having one more player on the active roster, they just had this guy every week, tag him as questionable, and then he wouldn't play. Like, it just didn't make any sense. So, I don't know. It could be kind of like didn't AJ Green do something similar to that the year before? Do you guys remember that, where he just didn't play all year?
He stopped playing.
And he just it kind of came off to me like that. I could be totally wrong, and he could have been more hurt than it seems. But I think that he's going to enter this year, and he's going to be fresh, and he's going to be good for whoever he signs with.
Yeah, he's going to be interesting. It's funny because, we all play fantasy. I know everybody that's watching here, you probably play some sort of fantasy football too. But I like him because, like I said, I see him do results. My cousins are all Detroit Lions fans and stuff like that. And they're always like, talk about it, watch him. But every time, like, he could be on my board late. And I'm like, I know I should pick him, but I just can't pull myself to pull the trigger to pick him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the back of my head where maybe it's just the Lions, or if it's this, his injuries, quote unquote injuries. But man, he's such a stud. But it's just weird, man. He's like a weird number one wide receiver because he produces, but he's not like a household name or just one of those names that says pop out to you like, all right, this guy's a stud kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But Joel, man, what do you think about the whole Kenny Galladay situation? Were you shocked, especially considering like this whole new move with now Jared Goff maybe getting Goff some weapons too, or like?
I honestly wasn't too shocked that he wasn't tagged. I know, I think it was you who mentioned that he wasn't going to get tagged last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to tag a guy and pay him that much money when they consistently can't stay healthy for you. Like, you need him out there producing. Obviously, Jared Goff would love to have a guy like Kenny Galladay out there. Marvin Jones is also a free agent for the Lions. They're a little bit thin at wide receiver right now. I'm assuming they offer Marvin Jones another deal, but Kenny Galladay's been linked to Miami already, saying that Miami's going to go all in on him. So I don't know what his market would be. I don't know how much less he would be. What Godwin got tagged at 16 million, 14 to 16 million. Maybe Kenny Galladay could sign a 4-year deal at around 45, 46 million, and I would be okay with that. I would be worried though that he would be in the physio room a lot.
Yeah, and Godwin was 16 million.
16 million. So Kenny Galladay's got to be somewhere around the 11, 12, 13 mark. And but it's one of those signings that you make and then you're like, "Oh, we love the talent. We love what he can bring to the outside." I think he's number 1 or number 2 PFF for jump ball contested catches in the NFL over the last 3 years. He's one of those guys, just chuck it up and he'll find a way to bring it down. But can he stay healthy is the other question.
The way I look at it as the Chicago Bears signing Allen Robinson. You know what I mean? Just that same type of situation where it's either going to work or it's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah,
I see that
he was banged up for the Jaguars also.
Yeah.
The two teams I see signing or like being in the market on Galladay the most are the Dolphins and maybe Oakland, because they just got rid of Tyrell Williams. Get him in there beside Henry Ruggs and a couple of their other guys. But I think he makes a lot of sense on either of those teams.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot Tyrell Williams went to the Lions.
Yeah.
Oh, that is right. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's someone, I guess.
It's something. Anyways, he's another guy who can't stay healthy either. So.
That whole Las Vegas team was just riddled too, man. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like Henry Ruggs coming in, supposed to be the fastest, healthiest player in the league, and all of a sudden was out like every other week. It felt like so.
Yeah.
And now coming out also out of the NFC, we have a running back that I know there's a lot of hype behind him. He had a great season last year coming out of Green Bay. Is Aaron Jones, and now I've seen that they didn't tag him,
Miami,
but they were trying to sign him. However, I think on the market, he's going to get way more than what the Green Bay Packers can conjure up.
He's going to get a scary deal probably.
Because like he was like honestly, like the only thing about Aaron Jones that's going to hinder him, and it sucks that people are going to look at him in light, is his play in the championship game. Like other than that, the guy had a ridiculous season. But everybody's going to point to, he had 2-3 fumbles in the championship game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. As a team, are you going to try to use that as leverage to get them cheaper? Or, Cody, it looks like you're about to say something. What do you think about that?
That's what I was going to say. Got to play good at contract time. That's when it matters most. But, you're totally right. Like, he played like crap. But, somebody's definitely going to overpay him, which he's a great player. He can do everything, but he does have a couple injury concerns. But I think he would look great in a teal uniform down in Miami. It's just you don't really want to pay him. Nobody's excited about paying a running back. That's the only issue.
Yeah. That's a scary proposition.
Yeah, like if I'm the Dolphins, I'd rather pay Chris Carson less money than pay Aaron Jones top money.
Yeah.
That's just me, myself. If I'm going to worry about injuries and fumbles, you got the same concerns with Carson. And you're probably looking at, maybe 4 or 5 million cheaper a year.
You think 4 or 5 million cheaper?
Aaron Jones is a top running back in this league. There is no question about that. It's just for me, it's hard for me to envision the Dolphins paying a running back. I haven't seen the Dolphins do it in a long time. So,
and having the deal work. Like the whole deal, it's just gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
Like down, they say year 3 or 4 if he signs a 4-year deal. You never know. Like, boom, injury year 1. The rest of the deal sucks.
Yeah,
and
he's not a very big guy. Like
No.
they like to use him. He's a better, for me, from what I've seen, I think he's a better out wide, catch the ball, make a couple moves guy. He can run up the gut and stuff like that, no problem. But I think he's a better catcher than he is an actual runner of the football.
Well, they played Jamal Williams a lot too. So.
Yeah, and they just drafted AJ Dillon, who showed that he can pound the ball a little bit too, right? So,
Eddie Lacy 2.0.
Oh man, AJ Dillon's legs are tree trunks. Like the guy's legs are like this big, man. Holy,
he's Saquon Barkley-esque leg drive. But I read that the Packers are going to try to sign him to a deal. I just don't think that they can match what other teams are going to be able to throw at him. Maybe a potential spot is Miami. I hope, like I said, no. I like some of the running backs in the draft this year, which is more ideal to draft a running back and not pay them top dollar and then kind of see what you get from it. Like the Dolphins starter last year was a 7th round pick in Myles Gaskin or a 6th round pick in Myles Gaskin and an undrafted guy in Ahmed. So before that, it was Jay Ajayi, a 4th round pick out of Boise.
Both played great, Ahmed and
Gaskin was nasty.
And Gaskin. And then before that, it was the J Train. I think he was a 4th or 5th round pick. Kenyon Drake was a later pick, 3rd or 4th round. The Dolphins don't like to pay running backs. That much is proven through history with them. Which is why I just can't see them doing the Marvin Jones or the Aaron Jones deal. But would it be nice to have a guy like that who can run the football, catch the football? Sure. But in the championship game, I noticed that he had trouble blocking JPP or Shaq Barrett off the outside. He fumbled the ball twice. One was a pass, one was a run, I believe. It's just in a big game when you have a real opportunity to stamp your authority on the top running back in the National Football League, and you fumble it a little bit. And the Packers were right there in that game, maybe without those turnovers. The Packers potentially beat the Bucks and they're in the Super Bowl. So we'll see.
Yeah. But that just goes off your point earlier, like drafting running backs a lot cheaper. They literally just did that. So it almost seems like that was the writing on the wall that they probably didn't want to sign him.
Right.
And now that he had a great year, it's kind of hard to sign him if you don't have the money for him.
Right.
And, maybe this is a time to give AJ Dillon more of a shot with Jamal Williams.
I think so. I think Jamal Williams is a great running back. He runs with authority.
Oh, yeah, he runs hard.
He runs like there's sirens coming behind him. You know what I mean? He's fantastic. I thought he should have had more of a role last year in just my opinion. I also think that Aaron Jones is the reason why the Packers did not beat the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game last year. This past season. So we'll see what happens. I can't see him commanding $13 million a year. I just can't.
Nope. You can ask, but
you shall not receive.
Don't be surprised about your answer.
The thing about Jones too is like when these teams go to pay Kamara, Kamara's elite, right? Oh, Dalvin Cook's elite. Nobody, for whatever reason, looks at Aaron Jones in that light, when in reality, he actually is in the elite class of running backs. It's just nobody really acknowledges it for whatever reason. Yeah. So that'll probably play into him not getting paid. There we go.
Good times a charm.
Yeah.
Now, my perfect idea spot for him, and this is a hot take, and is Aaron Jones signing with the Steelers, man. I think that is literally the perfect spot for him. You're talking about getting that attention that he needs. The Steelers' run game was non-existent. Like, I don't think I've seen a quarterback like Big Ben throw as many times and not run the ball once. Like, absolutely shocking.
Coming off an injury, too, Ben Roethlisberger. Throwing that much.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a great destination. I never even really thought about the Steelers, but yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know what happened to James Conner. Like, it was like He was a top running back when Le'Veon Bell had his issues going on, came back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Like,
if you watch him, he doesn't have that same explosion on the first step. You know what I mean? He looks slow.
yeah.
It looks like maybe potentially he was playing hurt for a lot of last year. I think he's a good running back. James Conner is, but definitely didn't show it last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's
he's a free agent too, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
That
So,
could be a low risk pickup somewhere for someone.
And that's the way I kind of look at it too. You know, when we have Juju not being tagged yet, we just had Bud Dupree showing that he's going to be in the FA. You know, having that slot where, you know, Claypool now and Deontay Johnson taking that step up as their wide receiver core. Juju can kind of leave if they want to. They pick up a guy like Aaron Jones to fit. Now you have, you know, a Claypool who showed that he could probably be promising in the league. You have Deontay Johnson who can take the top off. You put a guy like Aaron Jones to have a run game again. Then you have the steel curtain back the way they usually are, right? So
the Steelers did also lose Maurice Pouncey to retirement.
that is true.
Yeah.
So
Both
running up the gut might be a little bit harder for the Steelers this year unless they find somebody. And mind you, maybe the center for the Packers is on the move somewhere too. Maybe he lands in Pittsburgh also.
Oh, he's gone too, eh?
Yeah, Lindsey's a free agent, right?
Yeah. No
and
shit.
apparently Green Bay was saying that they weren't going to re-sign him, is what I was reading. He's going to he's potentially one of the best centers available in a while. So keep your eye out for that.
And the nice thing about a center too is, I mean, they're usually the lowest paid player on the line, right? So a lot of teams will be in on him.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm surprised they would do that to Rodgers, man.
Yeah, that's what the reports are saying. He's already looking at different places to go.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was first team All-Pro this season, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Yeah, he was. He's a special center. Like very, very rarely do people get by him. He's a rock.
Oh yeah.
Wow, man, I'm beyond shocked.
Did I just blow your mind or what?
Yeah, man, because you know you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. You know, center being the 1-2 connection. I wouldn't think they'd tear that apart.
Isn't it just so normal to piss the Packers to piss Aaron Rodgers off though?
Oh, yeah, I was saying
so
it is the
normal?
most Green Bay thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
Just doing it for fun.
Yeah,
that's just it. Like going on the flip side of it, you need to get him help, right? Well, Kenny Golladay. What about going to the Packers?
There's an idea.
He was pissed that they didn't get him another receiver.
Yeah, we went Jordan Love, baby. It's a Jordan Love time.
The guy that
if you can't beat him, join him type of technique in that NFC North there.
Yeah.
I think the Packers are going to get Rodgers another wide receiver this offseason, though I know Fuller was heavily linked before trade deadline last year, and I could totally see him going there. Can you imagine Will Fuller beside on the other side of Devontae Adams?
Wow. With Valdez Scantling there.
Are we covering the guy that's faster than everybody or the guy that never drops the ball and needs to be triple teamed? Like, I mean, good luck.
And let's not forget, man, that tight end that they had, man, was balling.
Tanyan,
Tanyan. And then Alan Lazard showed that he can be a beast too as well, man. You know, and like you said, if you play someone like Will Fuller there, like what do you do? Like hope Will Fuller goes out with another knee injury. Really, that's like what you can only hope for.
And they have Valdez Scantling, who has size and speed also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Cody with the hot take, Stephen A. Smith, baby.
It's not really a hot take. He was pretty linked to them before last year. I think it's a perfect fit. I want Fuller to come to the Ravens, but I think he fits in perfectly with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So
apparently the Packers offered a third or a fourth for Will Fuller, and the Texans weren't moving him unless it was a second.
Yeah. And the other thing with Fuller, the other thing with Fuller too is like if Watson leaves, you could totally see Fuller just following him, right? Because they have that chemistry, the rapport too. So
and with Fuller with the PEDs also too, it might lower his market value maybe a little bit, just a tiny little bit, not a lot, but just enough to make a team like Green Bay be interested.
Yep.
Man, that's true. Yeah, and then Man, that Texans team is
miserable.
Wow. Shambles.
A nightmare.
Like,
Yeah.
absolutely shambles.
Well, Billy O.B. didn't do him any favors. My God.
Dude, I still can't get over that trade.
Billy O.B.
Oh,
absolutely. Billy O.B. put the Dolphins on his back and said, "Hey, we're going to give you everything.
Yeah.
We're going to give you everything for Kenny Stills and Tunsil. We'll give you the house."
And the worst part
There you
about the
go.
whole thing, the worst thing about the whole thing is now, okay, sweet, we have Tunsil. If Watson's not there, who cares? Like, who's he going to be blocking for? You know what I mean? So it's just a nightmare scenario.
The brick's coming out of retirement, Cody. The brick is coming out of retirement.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
brutal.
Yeah.
Hey, don't say oh no about my boy Brock.
Yeah,
Brock.
Joe Flacco signs with the Texans. That's what you're seeing.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh, he's hilarious.
And then speaking about, man, we have some big fellas too that just got that didn't get franchise tagged, and one that I kind of found shocking. The other one, I saw coming. I thought it was this, up to this time. We got news that Hunter Henry would not be tagged from the Chargers. I saw the writing on the wall for that one. He had a credible season, like comeback season this year. Whoever gets this kid, man, if he stays healthy, he is an absolute menace at tight end. Super athletic, just that receiving tight end that can do it all kind of thing, right? But just injuries has really held him back. Like I think every year, ever since he came in the league, he's been hurt. And then the other one too was the one that I was more shocked about. Tennessee Titans don't tag Jonnu Smith, and to me, I thought that was kind of shocking just because of his production. Not last year, but also the year beforehand. Where he came in and started lining up at the end of the season, and of course being productive all season last year. I'm really shocked to see that they're not tagging him, or maybe even getting him on like a discount, because I don't think, like, to me, I don't know if teams will really give him that light of day. In terms of maybe a contract that maybe Tennessee might be thinking that he's going to be worth. I don't know. What do you guys think, Sharp?
Yeah, like to me, like it's kind of puzzling for both. Like, who else do they both have at tight end? Like, who do the Chargers have?
Virgil Green.
Virgil Green.
There's a name.
Yeah.
Ex-Bronco, baby.
And like the same as like the Titans. Like, you don't have Delaney Walker anymore, and Delaney Walker wasn't who he was anyways. So like, why are you not at least tagging these guys for another year before you figure it out? I don't. And like, yeah, Hunter Henry's going to have a big market.
Oh yeah,
Jonnu Smith too. Like, they're both going to be teams that need tight ends. Those two are like top of your list easily.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates going to come out of retirement. Watch. For the time. Joel, man, what do you think about the whole situation of the two tight ends?
To me, it's crazy that the Chargers didn't tag Henry. He's a top 5 tight end in this league. From blocking to receiving, he's fantastic. I love Hunter Henry. I think he's going to be a New England Patriot myself, which stinks for us Dolphins fans, considering we have trouble covering the tight end position for years now. But Hunter Henry's he's a special talent. The problem is he can never stay fully healthy. He's always sometimes when he catches the ball and he hits the ground, you're like, oh, there it is. He might miss a few here. Yeah. It's scary stuff. And Jonnu Smith is another fantastic tight end. I think he was graded as the number 1 blocking tight end in the league last year. So that's a big loss. That's a big loss, especially for even a guy like Derrick Henry running to the outside, getting a nice block from Jonnu Smith. Remains to be seen if they do try to come back and not tag them, but sign them to a deal, maybe a 2-year, 3-year deal for. I can see Hunter Henry getting around the 10 million mark, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if Austin Hooper did, but I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, if Austin Hooper can get 10 million, why can't Hunter Henry?
Hooper.
But and Jonnu Smith, although he doesn't get the yards necessarily, he's a great red zone target. I think he had 8 or 9 touchdowns last year for the Titans.
That's what I mean. He just produces.
Yeah, even if you wanted to put him in at fullback, he had 2 rushing touchdowns for the Titans. Also, like, he's versatile in the red zone, which a lot of teams need help in the red zone. He was a big reason why Tannehill had such great numbers in the red zone. The Titans had such great numbers in the red zone was Jonnu Smith. So there definitely will be a market.
I feel like Jonnu Smith is like a tight end every team looks for. So
Yeah.
I don't know why, like, at least tagging him. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
They might not tag him and let him hit free agency and then offer him a deal after and hope that he resigns.
But the problem, like, that's the thing with tagging him is, like, then he's your property still. So you have exclusive rights to try to get a long extension before actually signing the tag, right?
Yeah.
They might.
But, I mean,
I haven't seen the Titans cap situation. They might be closer to the cap.
That's true.
I'm not sure exactly. I know they pay a few guys, so we'll see what happens. But was it you, Sharp, that said they released the Malcolm Butler?
Yeah, that saved them like 9.
That's another big one.
Yeah, so that saves 8 or 9 million there. That's a huge. That's a massive cut. So we'll see what happens. Taylor Lewan, he got hurt at the end of last year too, I believe. He was making some big money. He got a huge deal. So I don't know what's going to happen with them, but Jonnu Smith is somebody, if you rely on the run game, you want Jonnu Smith on your team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much right now.
Because slot in right to the Vikings, man. You know, they just released Rudolph. I know they're high on Irv Smith, but, you know.
They do like Irv Smith.
That's a good spot, AJ. Well said.
100%. Now, Mr. Cody Mcguire, what do you think about the 2 tight ends? I know you were really bullish on Hunter Henry. I know you liked him, but what do you think?
I like Hunter Henry. He just gets hurt. That's really the only concern with him, and he's a great player. I think Jonnu Smith. Actually, the destination I could see him going to is the Patriots. We're only a year removed from Bill Belichick pumping his tires, if you guys remember that, saying he's one of the best tight ends in the league. We just got finished saying that we don't even know who the Patriots tight end is, so that makes way too much sense right there for him to sign with the Patriots maybe. I actually, while you guys were talking, I looked up the Titans tight ends because I knew their names. I just couldn't remember them. It's Pruitt. It's Pruitt and Ferkser.
Ferkser, yeah.
Yeah,
Ferkser, yeah. I mean, like, the problem is, like, they're not. I don't think they're good enough to, like, just let Jonnu Smith walk and then they're just go up the depth chart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apologies, by the way, for not listing Derrick Henry as one of the good paid running backs earlier. That was my bad. We started talking about the Titans, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't say I mentioned Henry off a 2K season. So shout out to Henry there.
Cody getting flamed in the comment section right now.
Yeah, thankfully I remembered, and actually it's funny because he's probably the best deal of the 3. Money wise, but yeah, I think Hunter Henry could definitely fit into a lot of teams and a lot of systems. I could see him going and maybe helping somebody that's like a younger quarterback, because he's a big guy, right? A big tight end, to give him an easy target across the field. So I think Jonnu will go to the Patriots. I'm not really too sure where Henry will go, but whoever gets both of them will get some good players. That's for sure.
Could you imagine Hunter Henry at Arizona?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that would actually be a really good place for him to go.
I know Bill Belichick loves Hunter Henry too.
I know they have who is their tight end now? Arnold?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a couple guys there, like Falls or Fells. Something like that. I think he's another guy
there. Darren Fells is at the Texans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a Texans guy, yeah.
Yeah, I think Hunter Henry would really...
Arizona's pretty lacking at tight end, though.
Yeah, that's a great spot for him. I think he'd serve really good for a younger quarterback that needs a big target across the middle of the field, but he'd fit in pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, because they have Dan Arnold and Max Williams. So
they got Max from the Ravens. That's right.
Yeah,
Max, the Triple X Max.
Yeah,
big boy,
Mad Max.
Perfect. So with saying that, guys, I definitely want to say thank you again for coming on to the panel. This has been a great episode. You know, like I said, the off season has officially started. We have some crazy news. Can't wait to see what unfolds upcoming weeks, and then of course coming up to the draft here at the end of April. But you know, before we sign off here, you know, fellas, do you want to give some lasting words for our audience? You know, Sharp, you know, do you want to give anything?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Braga's background. I like the Pixar look, buddy.
Had to be the one that fired off.
We were all thinking it, but Mike just had to say it.
Yeah. There's a light, but no light on, boys.
Yeah.
It's not jumping around.
Well played. Well played.
Joel, what about you, my man?
Yeah, just if you like what you see here, guys, subscribe and hop on in next Tuesday for next episode.
Awesome. Cody?
Yeah, just what Joel said, like and subscribe if you could. It would help out a lot. And you can follow us on Twitter too. Got the handle down there beside my name. Same with Instagram. I don't know, is the Instagram the same?
Yep. Everything's the same across the board.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get obviously like some interaction with some of the people that are watching. So the more followers we have, the more things we can do and of that nature, and get kind of other people's takes involved a little bit more through like polls and whatnot. So that would be nice.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. If you want to follow us individually too, my Instagram handle is at AJ Lavender, spelled EHJAY Lavender. We have my man Mike Sharp at Mike Sharp 11. We have my man Jay Braga 35. Then we have Cody, who's rocking the Pigskin Panel handle, and we see Joel here with this Loa. There it is. He's rocking with them. No Fitz magic around here. But yeah, then we have Cody. He's going to be representing us in our Twitter account as well as our Instagram at the Pigskin Panel. And we're also going to be hosting each episode live every Tuesday at 8:00 p.m. here on YouTube. So definitely click on the subscribe button down below. Again, follow us on all of our platforms on Instagram, Twitter, as well as this is going to be held on Spotify, these podcasts. So definitely check us out there. Subscribe to us on Spotify. Until next time, guys, this had been the podcast, the Pigskin Panel. Till next week, go Broncos, go Cowboys, Dolphins, Flock Gang, everybody here. Take her easy, everybody. Peace out.
Peace.